Hey guys, welcome into the Sportscast here. It's your host Brian. I got special guest Ryan Sims on here to talk about the draft. Ryan, my man, thanks for joining on the show and taking time out of your busy schedule to do so.
Man, love it. This is my favorite time of the year. This is like Christmas to me. I enjoy draft season more than I do the NFL season. That's how much I love the draft. Um, I watched probably 150 players film this year. I listened to podcasts, everyone that's out there that's got one. I went to the Fans Draft 101 in Dallas last week and did Q&A. In fact, if you go watch it, you'll see me go up there and ask Broadus and all them and Vach Lombardi and all those guys some questions about this upcoming draft. And haven't had a top, 15 pick in a good while. And so that's always fun, although this draft is very, very, very weird. We'll talk about that soon, but excited to be here with you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you just said exactly the reason you're on here is because you live for this draft. And I jokingly call you our draft expert, but it's not really that joke because you go through all the research for it. So glad to have you on, and we should make this a yearly thing. Ryan's been pretty crazy. He's told me who the Packers have selected the last couple of years, and he's pretty spot on. So I'm interested to see which ones you get right and everything. But I know you've been dying. Let's get into some Cowboy talk here, Ryan. What do you think of the new head coach, the coaching changes, and this kind of offseason so far?
I love the direction that we're headed in. Hence I've got my shoddy visor.
And the shoddy visor's out.
A visor since middle school, probably, or before that. But I'm repping my new coach. I wasn't a huge fan of the hire initially, just because I wanted something splashy. But the more I see it, he's kind of earned my trust, especially with the coaching staff. This is the best assistant staff that I've ever seen in my adult life on the Cowboys. I've never seen a better supporting cast on with the head coach, just the wide receiver coach, the OC, the DC, the special. This is the best coaching staff that we've had, and he doesn't seem like he's a yes man. And Jerry's being way more quieter than he normally is, which is weird. He didn't bring anybody on the bus, so love what we're doing. We actually signed. I mean, I know we didn't spend anything crazy, but we actually signed like 10 people this year. Last year we signed 2. And Jerry today told reporters that the Cowboys have 2 trades in the works, 2 substantial trades in the works that could happen before the draft or right after. Also, Stephon Gilmore was in the building today during the presser. Could be signing him as well. So loving what we're doing. I think we'll be back competitive again if and only if Dakota Prescott stays healthy. And so, although I do love the backup quarterback we just traded for, I think if he takes any time at all, that he could take Dak's job just like Tony took it. I mean, he took Tony's. So that's where I'm at with the boys right now.
There's a lot of mixed emotions with the coaching staff, and I'm not like I'm going to have to wait and see with Shoddy because no one else was really interested in him. But I will tell you this that I've noticed for the Cowboys this year is you're right, they have made more off-season moves than we've seen previous. Now they weren't game-changing moves, but they put up some more depth in there. Your running back room is going to be better this year than it was last season. The other thing, too, you talk about the coaching staff. It looks like they've allowed Shoddy to go in and kind of handpick his guys, and you really haven't seen that in Dallas. Nope. Right? You had a guy waiting you had Jason Garrett waiting behind Wade Phillips, and you had, Dan Quinn was always leaking over McCarthy, and what's the other guy who just won the Super Bowl? What's his face?
Oh, Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen Moore was always there. He might be the next. So I like what they've allowed Schottenheimer to do. I think maybe it took a little down talking from Jerry Jones to kind of, hey, let him come in here and do these changes. So those are 2 things that I think is going to be the positive for the Dallas Cowboys going into the season, personally.
What's interesting with Shoddy is they brought him in initially. Cowboys do things backwards sometimes, and they were seeing how interested he'd be in being the offensive coordinator and play caller since he hadn't been the play caller here. And they were so impressed with the interview. It lasted all night, and then they brought him back the next day, and they were like, that's it, we're doing this. So must have been, and then so far, just the way he talks, and even the Cowboys players, they love him.
Yeah, and unfortunately last season, like you said, Dak Prescott was injured, and it's kind of a flush of a year. And I know I'm not a big Dallas Cowboy fan, obviously, but I hate to see a quarterback go down like that, and it basically ruins your season. I thought Jordan Love was going to be gone for a while, and our season was going to be over when he got injured against the Eagles to start the season. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, with Dak Prescott back here, obviously going to have a better season than he did last season. Your division got a lot tougher. I mean, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. The Washington Commanders seem to find their quarterback and their head coach. And do you think you guys are going to be able to compete with those talented teams in your division?
Not worried about Washington.
Whoa, strong words.
We'll see.
Strong words there, sir.
We'll see Jaden Daniels take a year 2 drop just like CJ Stroud did. He'll still be good.
Yeah.
Dak, do you remember Dak's rookie year, how good he was? And they said he's like the next coming of Tom Brady, and he took a drop down. All these quarterbacks their rookie year that are good like that, they come out the hot of the gate. They kind of like, all right, now they've had a year to scheme. They've got film on you, all those types of things.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at Dan Quinn historically, like with Atlanta, he comes out hot out the gate, and then his teams just kind of fizzle. It's the same thing with the defense. They come like even with us, he comes out hot out the gate, and then he just like, okay, what do I do next? Even last year with Jaden Daniels, by the way, we beat them the first time and purposely lost the second time. We put in all of our backups to let them score at the end so that we could move up 4 draft spots because we were about to win that game too. Now,
Purposely
Philly,
lost.
I
They
think
did lose a lot on defense,
they lost
Philadelphia.
a whole
But
lot on defense. I still think Jalen Hurts is a fraud, and I think he is a byproduct of elite offensive line play, elite weapons around him, 2 WR1s, best running back in the league, best offensive line in the league. Like, I still think if you don't put everything perfect around him, he's not a guy that can carry you. So long term, I don't see them winning multiple. In fact, I think that's the only one Jalen's going to get.
well, something we can agree on. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts fan. He has everything in his right there. He's got 2 great wide receivers, a great offensive line. Saquon Barkley had one heck of a year. Yeah. We'll see if they ban the tush push coming up.
If they ban the tush push, the Eagles are done. Like, for real.
And you can thank the Green Bay Packers for that. So
Yes, because
yes.
low key,
Low key. Yeah.
low key kind of, I wouldn't have wanted my team to be the ones that banned it. Like, will I be happy that they banned it? Yes, but do I think they should have? Just because we can't stop this play, I think it's kind of cowardly.
It's a soft move, and I talked about it on the podcast that I hate that it was Green Bay because it comes out a little soft. But hey, if it gets it banned, send us a gift basket. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, let's move into your top 50 board here. And Ryan's going to give us his top 50 board, his grades, and a little rundown of each player. And we'll hand it off to you, Ryan.
All right, so I got top 50 board. You can share it on the screen if you'd like. But
let me share here.
Number 1 on my board, no shocker here, Travis Hunter, wide receiver and cornerback, Colorado State University. Number 12, retired Colorado State University, Heisman Trophy winner. Question, Brian. If he plays both positions, is he in the same category as Shohei? Will he make that level of impact in the NFL if he plays cornerback, wide receiver? We've never seen it done. Like we saw Dion do it some here and there, but you've never seen somebody do it both sides of the game, whole game.
If he does it, and is elite on both sides, then he will be better. It'll be the best thing we've ever seen in this professional history of sports.
I agree. The question is, whoever drafts him and the top 3, will they allow him to do it? Quick question. I know that you know enough about him to answer this. Do you think if he's going to play one side or the other, do you think he should be playing wide receiver or do you think he should be playing corner?
That is a good question. I would put him more as a wide receiver than corner, but
I agree with you.
I think he prefers to play more defense than anything.
Most teams, with my research, most teams have him on their board as the top corner, and I have him as WR1 of this draft. And if he's smart, who gets paid more? Wide receivers.
Wide receiver, yeah. I think, honestly, Obviously, he said if he can't play both, he's going to quit football. I don't believe that's true. I think whoever takes him, they're gonna play him. It's got to be a percentage of one or the other. Maybe the first year until he gets used to how hard the NFL hits and all that stuff. They probably work out harder in the NFL and stuff like that.
Right.
But I honestly would like him better at wide receiver because he's going to be able to control the game and make bigger plays as a wide receiver than a cornerback. Which, I mean, yeah, he can make an interception, but that's only if they throw the ball. If you're shutting down a guy, then they can do other things. I think he's going to be able to be better and more impactful as a wide receiver than a cornerback. So,
Yep. Agreed. Number two, these are the top two guys on pretty much every expert's board. Abdul Carter, edge, Penn State. Micah Parsons clone, even wears the number 11. Interesting, he's only played edge for one season, so he's still raw a little bit, but he's a freak athlete. This last season, he had 12 and a half sacks, 66 pressures, and dude is just a absolute dog. He's probably going to end up in my division. We'll talk about that in a minute, but hate to see it, but absolute monster. He's going to be great for somebody. It's surefire, can't miss. Number three, this is my only one that might differ from a lot of people's, but I think I think there's only 3 or 4 guys in this that are just surefire locks, and this is one of them. But my third player is Mason Graham, defensive tackle. He's a 3-tech out of Michigan, explosive guy, big feet, can stop the run, gets the pass rush. Now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I just want to talk to you real quick. If this guy falls to 12, he is not Taco Charlton. If this guy falls to 12, he is not Mozzie Smith. If he falls to 12, he will be the best player on the board by a landslide. And Cowboys fans are going to cry their eyes out if we take him. But he is not the same player as those two guys. Both those guys were taken in the 20s. This guy's a consensus top 10 pick. Just really good. Number 4, this one isn't no shocker to you. Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State, best
beast.
running back in the draft.
Should have won Heisman.
He had a good. I mean, he finished second. He finished second. Stout, good runner, catch the ball from the backfield, can block, can do everything. Only concern is that he's 5'9".
Yeah.
And so, you'd like him to be a little bit closer to 6 foot, but Emmitt Smith, was 5'8", so didn't slow him down any. Man, I wish he would fall to 12 to the Cowboys, but
Yeah, y'all would definitely take him.
it would be like a CeeDee Lamb thing all over again, where just everybody messes up the draft and lets him fall.
So mad.
Yeah,
Still mad about that.
CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson both fell towards the middle, later part of the draft in the same draft, but it's crazy. Number 5, this is a player that's continually being mocked to the Cowboys, and there's a good chance that he could fall to us. Ted McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. Just think Mike Evans 2.0. Built like him, possession receiver, jumps up and get high points to the ball, big vert, just big possession receiver, something the Cowboys haven't had in a very, very long time. There's going to be a lot of teams that want him outside of Hunter. Hunter's like a hybrid, right? Like, this is your WR1.
Yeah.
Not named Travis Hunter, right? Like, because we don't know what Travis Hunter's going to do yet, whether teams are going to put him at quarter, wide receiver, or if he's going to play a little bit of both or what. Number 6, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. He was the best tackle the first 5 games of the year. Blew out his ACL against Oregon, patella tendon against Oregon. Cut his season short. Dr. Cooper of the Cowboys did his surgery and says he's good to go, be ready to go by training camp. Some people might have them as his OT 2 or 3, but that's only because of the injury. This guy would have been surefire, top 5 pick. Like, this guy's going to be your left tackle, your Tyron Smith for the next 10 or 15 years. And he's sliding down a lot of boards because of his knee, but I'm going by tape alone. This guy is a lock. Will Campbell, offensive tackle, LSU, 4-year starter, only 21 years old, 6'6", just a stud, dude.
Kind of like Alt, who came out last year.
Yeah, this guy.
The
A lot of
Chargers.
people will
Oof.
talk about this in the mock, but the Patriots are in love with him. Number 8, Jalen Walker. This is one of the most interesting guys in the draft. This is the a defensive player that I could see the Cowboys considering at 12 if he fell. Georgia, probably the best athlete potentially in the draft, but nobody can decide if he's a linebacker or an edge. He's like a little too big to be a linebacker, and he's a little too small to be an edge, and he kind of went back and forth, back and forth. I think you'll find like a Micah Parsons rookie year role. Like we just saw how good Micah was and just moved him from
Yeah.
linebacker to edge. I could see a team potentially just putting this guy all over the field, put him at edge one play, put him at linebacker the next. Like he's just a freak athlete that'll be a solid player for a long time for a team. Number 9 on my big board is Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, Texas. Some teams think that he needs to go to guard to be successful in the NFL. Some people think he'll be just fine at tackle. He's sliding down boards a bit. I don't understand. He literally went 2 years without giving up a sack. He got hurt at the end of the year. This last year came back for the playoffs, gave up a couple sacks in the playoffs because he was playing injured, and then all of a sudden now he's falling from a Sherlock number 10 to 20 in some mocks. Any team would be lucky to have him. Do you remember Sweat last year, big-bodied defensive tackle
Yeah.
that came out and was drafted by Seattle? They were talking to them. They're like, "Who's the hardest player you've ever went against?" And he said, Kelvin Banks. He said, I went against that guy 100 times, and I never beat him, not on one single play. This is a second-round defensive tackle, 350 kills, like last year saying that. Number 10 on my big board is Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State. Going to be a
Beast.
playmaker. Yeah, going to be a playmaker in this league. Somebody's going to take him early. Top 15 pick, could slide into the top 10. Looks like he's going to be a lot. Can block, can catch, he's just an all-around tight end. I'd pit him like a George Kittle comp, and so going to be really good for somebody. Number 11. So these next 3 guys, 11, 12, and 13, they're all receivers, and I essentially have them all butted up against each other. They're so similar in grade to me, but some teams might have them in different order for different reasons. But I had 11. I have Emeka Ibuka, wide receiver, Ohio State, safest player in the draft. He's going to be a really good player for a long time in this league. He has a really high. He doesn't have as high of a ceiling as some of these other receivers in the draft, like Golden, like we'll talk about in a second. But he is much safer, a much more refined guy. The last couple of years, he's been the WR2 because of Harrison and that beast true freshman at Ohio State this year, but he still just can do literally every single thing. And so I would love him for the Cowboys. You would love him for you if y'all would actually pick a wide receiver.
We won't, and we won't move up either.
He's a guy that could be in your range based off of how this draft goes. But according to my board, I have him number 11. He's just so consistent. I like players that I know that I can count on every single play, and you can count on him every single play. Number 12, like I don't have much of a difference on the board, but because of the longevity, like I've seen Emeka Ibuka do it for 4 years. I've only seen Matthew Golden do it for half a season. And so Matthew Golden's my number 12 player, wide receiver, Texas, and I'm a big Texas fan. Ascending player, fastest receiver in the draft. Like he's a stud athlete, gets separation. Just when it mattered against Arizona State, when it looked like Texas was down and out of it, Ewers throws a 40-yard bomb to tie it up there at the end of the game.
Arizona should have won that game.
Yep, and they lost. Number 13, Luther Burden, wide receiver, Missouri, 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Had a better season last year, but the Missouri offense this last year was absolute trash. He's quick. He can do everything. He's a yak guy. I've got 4 guys. I got 4 wide receivers that are worthy of a first-round pick, and that's the 4th one right there. Armand Mimbu is my 14th, offensive tackle, Missouri. Just nasty guy. Plays right tackle, but could also play left. Big, young, nasty, part of a terrible, terrible offensive scheme over there in Missouri. Number 15 is Jahdae Barron, cornerback, Texas. Yes, please.
Tell me about him. There are a lot of mocks have him going to Green Bay, I see.
Okay, so he should truly be the cornerback 1 in this draft, but he's not for everyone. And that's because there's some teams, like my team, that care about length and height and all those things. And so he's a smaller guy. He might translate as a slot in the NFL because of his size, but tape-wise, he's the best corner in the draft. Some mocks have him going as high as 11 to the 49ers as well. So if it was your pick at 23, it would be a dang good pick. Number 16. This is crazy. 16. The number one overall pick in this draft.
Cam Ward.
QB. Miami. He's going number one. Now
You see what he did the other day?
But
I mean to cut you off.
Favorite running back.
His favorite wide receivers, and he picked everyone on Tennessee Titans. I'm like, are you kidding?
They said they've already know who they're picking and all those things already. So he knows that he's going there. And Tennessee said they decided not to trade today, and they know who they're taking, and they said that already. So
yeah.
Yep. So Cam Ward, he's the only first-round graded quarterback that I see in this draft. He shows flashes. I saw somebody earlier today say that if he was in last year's quarterback class, remember 6 quarterbacks went in the first 12 picks, that he would have been the 7th quarterback taken in that class after Bo Nix. So this is not a great quarterback class.
Yeah, I could see that. 100%.
We all know that quarterback is probably the weakest position in this class, and running back is the strongest. And then defensive tackle probably close second, the strongest. There's a lot of depth in those two positions. And so that's the last of my first round graded players. So in every year, there's 32 picks in the first round, obviously. But most GMs will have between 15 and 18 first round grades. And then if after that you're picking in the first round, but you're picking a guy with a second round grade. Most guys I'm hearing have somewhere between 12 and 15 or 16. I have 16 first round grades myself. And I had to force myself to honestly put Cam Ward in there just because I know he's going 1. And I thought it would be ridiculous to give him a second round grade. So I gave him my last first round grade there.
Yeah, we know he's going number 1.
Yeah. And then I'll go quickly through the reason. So here's where for me, the meat and potatoes of the draft. Basically from 17, I have it to 50, but really from 17 to 60, there's almost no difference in the player you're getting.
That's crazy.
This is what makes this draft so difficult. The guy you're drafting at 17 is not substantially better than the guy you're drafting at 40. And so it's just about like, what do you need? Because there's a ton of second and third round graded players in this draft. And so there's lots of depth, but like, man, they're saying that in this draft, there's not going to be a lot of people to want to trade up just because it's just not much. Everybody's wanting to trade down in this draft, but there's not many people that are wanting to trade up. Only team they're saying right now that might want to trade up is the Broncos. All right, but I'll rapid fire through these so we can get into the mock. Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan, is my first second round graded player. The Cowboys could be interested. I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't love it. He's got great film, but he refuses to run the 40. In fact, he refused to run the 40 from high school to college and still got to go D1. He just refused to run the 40 for the combine and his pro day. And so the guy's slow, obviously. And so that's the biggest concern, but he's locked down some guys. Tyler Booker is offensive guard, Alabama. He's a plug-and-play, surefire starting guard. The only reason he's not a first-round grade is because that's really hard to get a first-round grade as a guard. In the NFL, you got to be elite. The only one who could technically be a guard is Kelvin Banks, and he has position flex. Malachi Starks, he'll go in the first round, but I got a second-round grade on him. Safety, Georgia. He's a safety that can do everything. He can come up to the line. He can go back in coverage. He can stop the run. He can do whatever you want him to do. My 20th guy is Mike Green, edge Marshall. Small school reminds me of DeMarcus Ware, especially DeMarcus Ware came from that small school, Troy, and so similar traits. 21, Omari Hampton. Some people have mocked this to the Cowboys at 12. I love the player. There's only one running back I want to take 12 or higher.
Yeah, there's only one.
Yeah, there's only one I want to take. And if we're taking Omarion, I would want to go down, but to me, his comp is DeMarco Murray, which was a dang good back. And that would be his comp for me. 22, Jihad Campbell. He's going to go in the first round, linebacker, Alabama. I would have given him a first-round grade, but he scares the fire out of me. He just had surgery on a torn labrum, has hip issues, all those things. And so Scares me a little bit. He played through them all, missed 0 games this year, but
Hmm.
he is a dinged up player. Man, he's LB1 in this draft, tape-wise.
This next guy is a guy that I'm interested in.
Yeah,
You've been telling
James
me about him.
Pierce Jr., edge Tennessee off-field troubles. Some teams have taken them off their board because he's got a lot of off-field drama. Apparently, it was reported today by Jane Slater that the Cowboys are really interested in this guy. I would have to think it would be in a trade-back situation, just because it wouldn't make any sense to take him at 12, knowing that this guy's falling down because of some off-field stuff. But tape-wise, this guy's a 10-sack-a-year guy, I think. So he'd be a dang good player. 24 is Siobhan Ravel, cornerback, East Carolina. This dude tore his ACL last season. He would have been cornerback 1 in this draft, first round pick. Brian Broaddus has him as a top 12 player in this draft and gave him a first round grade still, even with the knee. That's how good his tape is. I'm hoping he'll fall to 44. I doubt it, but I'm really hoping he does because I would love to snag this guy at 44. Nick Amanwori, safety, South Carolina, athletic freak, high IQ football guy. I don't know if you like high IQ guys, but this is like a high IQ, can break down defenses. Most of the time, a linebacker's the captain and calling the plays for your defense. This guy could do it from the safety position. Somebody's going to get a really good player here. Donovan Easy, Boston College, bendy, edge, long arms. 16 and a half sacks over 3 years. Not great, not bad. All of those things. And then here's these next 4 guys, man. I put them where I think they should be. There are going to be teams that take them higher than this. These guys are going to go higher. Mykel Williams, you want to see me put my fist through a wall? Let the Cowboys pick Mykel Williams at 12. Edge, Georgia, looks the part. Production is not there. You look at all the measurables, you look at him, you look how he did the combine, how he talks, he plays the part, he looks the part, he looks like he should be a Micah Parsons. Homie's got like 2 sacks. And he's got a lot of hype. People are saying he could go top 15 or 20. He's a traits guy, and there's some teams that will draft traits. I'm a tape guy, and this is a guy that's all traits. I can't hear you.
My bad. Sorry, my mic was muted. This seems like a Packers guy. A guy that they draft, like Luca Van Ness, and you're like, okay, this guy looks pretty good. And then it's 2 or 3 years in, I'm going, where is this guy at? Like, come on.
Same thing
Anyways.
with this guy, Shamar Stewart, Texas. This is another guy that people are saying the Cowboys could be interested in. It's rising up people's boards. Texas A&M has a lot of guys that were like 5-star athletes that and they're like going to go in the top 2 rounds, but they didn't do anything in college. Explosive, put on a show. Once again, production is not there. When I went to the Draft 101, there was a guy that actually worked in the locker room at Texas A&M, and he went up there and talked about some of these guys. He did say Shamar Stewart is a leader and that he's an absolute the team follows him. He's an absolute freak show. Like when you see him, he looks like he's a man, but still a project. Walter Nolan, he was an A&M guy. He's transferred to Ole Miss this last season. Defensive tackle, 5-star recruit, number 3 on the board coming out of high school. This last year was a solid year-ish. Not for a 5-star recruit, but overall solid.
You put on here lazy.
Yes.
Whew,
all the trades.
that's not good.
At A&M, lazy. Ole Miss tape did look better. Like maybe he's grown. Maybe it was just bad culture because there's a lot of common denominator with Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. They got a new coach this last year, but he had already transferred out. Lazy. And even that guy said he was always sitting in the locker with his beanie on, earphones in, never talked to any of his teammates, never engaging with anybody, always by himself. This was at A&M. Now, if this guy puts it together, could be a Pro Bowler every single year, could be the best defensive tackle in the NFL. That's the ability he has. Haven't seen it yet. And Jane Slater also said the Cowboys are very interested in Walter Nolan. PFF actually has him rated as their 7th overall player.
Wow.
For this draft. I've seen lots of mocks with him going as high as 11 to the 49ers. Please take him at 11. Please take him at 11.
That's an overreach, huh?
He's probably going to go in that range, but I'm pitting guys by tape, not just by what they could be necessarily.
Let's get to 30, and then I want to talk about a certain player that you still haven't listed.
Who's that?
And then we'll get to 30, and then I'll bring it up.
Oh, Kenneth Grant, the other guy that's being mocked to you.
No.
Defensive tackle, Michigan, run clogger. He should be higher, but he's red flagged. And I
Is
could
that where
rapid fire
he's?
through these last 20 in about 2 minutes if you want me to.
Okay, well, one guy you haven't listed yet.
Who's that?
Shooter Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even.
He's on here.
He's 33.
Yeah.
Woo! He's gonna be the. I'm interested to see where you have him going, and we'll get to that in a minute. But
Yeah.
let's rapid fire these last 20.
Kenneth Grant should be top. He should be defensive tackle number 2 in this draft, but he's medical red flag, so I moved him down appropriately because of that. Nick Scorton, another edge, Texas A&M guy. Honestly, he's the best player that's come from them, but he's fallen down because once again, production's not great there.
I will say this: Adrian Cooper, we got from Texas A&M, absolute stud.
Yeah,
don't know if that goes to else, but
Trey Amos, cornerback, Ole Miss, day 1 starter at corner. He's probably going to be a late first, early second round player. Somebody's going to get him a really good player. 33 and 34, Sanders and Jackson Dart. Both these guys are probably going to go in the first round. Shedeur Sanders, we'll talk about in just a moment. He's going to go probably in the first, but he's my first player in the second round. I mean, I've got more guys with second round grades, but by definition, he would be the first guy.
Yeah.
In the first, second round. And then Jackson Dart, Ole Miss. He's got the most upside of any quarterback in this draft.
I liked him.
Yeah, he's got the most upside. He just needs to put it together. Here's another Texas A&M player. Same deal, defense tackle, big flash player. Doesn't show it every single play. You'll see it like, oh my gosh, this guy's a beast. And then he just fades away. Carson Schlesinger, linebacker, UCLA, he's a dude, man. I want the Cowboys to take him at 44, does everything. My linebacker, too, and honestly, I could talk myself into making him linebacker 1. He's that stinking good. Travion Henderson, running back, Ohio State. Tony Pollard, explosion with a better build. Really like him a lot. Another guy that I would mind at 44 for the Cowboys. Caleb Johnson, running back, Iowa, great balance. He should have been running back 2 in this draft above a Hampton. However, his 40 time in that combine kind of knocked him down a little bit, but his tape-wise, he might have the second best tape of any running back in this draft. I'd love to have him. Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU, consistent production. This is my tight end too. He's a player. I'd love to have him. Xavier Watts, safety, Notre Dame, high motors, never missed a game in his career. Best ability is availability. Andrew Makumba, safety, Texas. He is a dude, man. He could play slot corner. He could play safety. He'll smack you. I know you saw him play some of those games. Some people have him falling into the third round, and if you get this guy in the third round, it's an absolute freaking steal. Jaden Higgins, this is my first wide receiver in the second round. Second round grade on this guy. Iowa State, 6'4", runs a 4.4, amazing ball tracker. If you're looking for a second round wide receiver, Brian, because y'all don't take him in the first, this is your guy.
This is the guy.
Jalen Noel, wide receiver, Iowa State, his teammate, quick, small slot guy. Really, really good. I could flip these guys. They're so evenly, and they're both on the same team. Really good. Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan, shooting up boards. Could go top 15, and I don't get it. I don't
understand it.
He's my tight end 3. And I only put him at 44, really, because I just saw how many other scouts how he's flying up the board. And I've seen some mocks that even have him going like top 15, which would be asinine to me. Quishon Judkins, running back, Ohio State. This might be a little higher than some have him, but I'm high on this guy. I just see his tape and I see Marion the Barbarian. I would love this guy for the Cowboys. I love that smash mouth, just going to run over you. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, Notre Dame. Injury concerns, would have been a surefire lock, number 1. Some teams saw him work out today, actually. The Cowboys were one of those teams. This could be a guy that the Cowboys look at in the second round at 44. Jalen Milroe, quarterback, Alabama. Some scouts are saying he has the best legs on a quarterback they've ever seen. He was invited to be there on night 1 of the draft. He will be there in attendance. Now, tape-wise, he should be waiting till day 2.
Yeah.
But they don't invite you unless they think there's somebody that's going to take you in round 1. So that's interesting. Tyler Shaw, quarterback Louisville, prototype NFL quarterback, 6'5", got the big frame, best arm strength in the draft. 49, Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State, just a dog in the middle, bro. If you want a run clogger that's just going to do the dirty work and doesn't need to get the flash, that's your dude. Then wrapping up my top 50 is Maxwell Hairston, cornerback Kentucky, runs a 4.28, got closing burst, just an awesome, awesome corner. And that rounds up my top 50 right there, brother.
That's awesome. How much time do you put into this tapes, and where do you get it? Where do you get all these tapes from? I mean,
I get on YouTube, whatever I can find. It's getting harder and harder these days to find it because the teams are locking up their stuff.
I figured you got to have a prescription and pay for something.
Yeah. No, I'm looking so I watch games throughout the year. I record their games throughout the year. I'll go watch them. I take notes during the college season when I'm watching a game. I'm not just watching the game to watch the game. I'll say, "Ooh, I like this player." I'll take notes on it. I'll watch highlights, all these things. I'll read about these players. I'll watch combine notes. And like while you're sitting there scrolling TikTok, most likely I'm watching a player on YouTube or listening to a podcast about a specific player, watching guys like Brian Broaddus and Vosh Lombardi break down these players.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I've gotten into college over probably the last 3 or 4 years, a lot more. Not quite there yet where I'm giving you a top 50 board, but that is awesome. Well, let's get into your mock draft here, and we'll talk about that. I had one. I didn't mock it myself. It was just one of those random ones, so I'm not even going to pull that up. But let's talk about your draft. I'm interested to see what you have. Obviously, we know number 1, Cam Ward.
Yep. Nope.
That's to Tennessee.
So I did my top 32 board based off of what I thought the team would do. So I had my top 50 board and what I think. But as the great scout Brian Broaddus would say, teams don't care what we think. And so I tried to go off what I think that they could possibly do. And so I got a little tough 27 through 32 there because I think there's a couple trades that are going to throw some wrenches and things. But
yeah.
Yep. So number 1 overall, I've got the Tennessee Titans taking Cam Ward. QB1 in the draft, my 16th overall player. I think the Titans are dumb. They should take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter and call it a day and wait till next draft. Be bad again and try to go for the Arch Hunt in a year or two. But they're taking them now, which leaves Cleveland taking Travis Hunter at 2.
Which is interesting too.
Yep, licking their chops. They could take Abdul Carter to pair with Myles Garrett, but all the rumor riskies say that they are locked in on Travis Hunter, that he is surefire going to go to Cleveland.
What are they doing for the quarterback position?
Well, when you're paying a guy $50 million a year, you can't really do anything else. And so it will be Deshaun and they who else did they sign? They signed Kenny Pickett and they signed what's his name? That was good for them a year or two ago, Joe Flacco.
They signed him. Joe Flacco's still playing.
Yep, they just re-signed Joe Flacco and they've got Kenny Pickett and they've got Deshaun Watson. So they got 3 guys that could potentially play. Number 3. The Giants were locked in a month or two ago. Everybody's had this going sugar. I still think there's a 20% chance that they go Shadur here because they did private workouts. But ultimately, I think that the ability to just match up another just stud edge with the edge they already drafted a couple years ago in the top 10, they're going to take Abdul Carter here, number 3, which sucks as a Cowboys fan.
I think Shadur goes here.
Yep.
I just think the hype, the fact that they don't have a quarterback.
I hope he does, but most experts are saying they believe that the Giants are not taking a quarterback here, that they're going to try to trade back into the bottom of the first and get Shadur there, or hope that he falls to their second-round pick.
See, I don't think he's fallen there that far. But that'd be a far drop.
Between him and QB5, that big of a difference?
No.
Nope.
No, it's not. It's the name. It's the hype. I'm sorry, but retiring his number in Colorado is absolutely stupid. But that's a whole nother argument.
Good quarterback. He's just not a top 10 in the draft quarterback. So I got Abdul going number 3. I've got the Patriots taking Will Campbell here. They're saying that there could be some interest in Ashton Genty, and there's also some rumor rooskies
Mm-hmm.
going around that Chicago has called them multiple times and is willing to move up, and that the Patriots are willing to potentially do that as long as Hunter and Carter aren't there. If Hunter or Carter there, they're taking one of those two. If not, then they're willing to move down. But everything
I
that
could
I'm
see
reading,
Chicago getting a
yeah,
running back. Moving up to 4 to get a running back would be.
I mean, that's the only way you're getting Genty. And so, but the Patriots, everything that I'm reading, everything I'm hearing, my little brother's just as obsessed with the draft as me, and he's a Patriots fan, is that they're locked into Will Campbell. So I got him going to 4. That's my tackle 2, but he doesn't have the injury concerns. He's 21, young, just beast. Number 5, for months, people had them locked into Mason Graham, but now they're saying that they're shifting. They want to get Trevor Lawrence some more help. So Ashton Genty, number 5. Ashton Genty won't fall any farther than 6, in my opinion. That's the most that he'll slide.
I figured he would go to the Raiders, Ashton Genty. So, but I could see him in Jacksonville. I could definitely see him there to help out Trevor Lawrence.
Brian Broaddus has some friends in Jacksonville, and they said that they've pivoted in last week, and the buzz is that Ashton Genty is going to be the pick if he's there at 5. So with that being said, I could see the Raiders taking Tet McMillan, which I would hate, but to me, Mason Graham is the blinking light at number 6 there, and so I had them take the blinking light, take Mason Graham. The Jets really need some offensive line help, and they've been really linked to Armin Mumbu, and so I could see him going there. Number 8, both the Saints and the Panthers love Jalen Walker. It's been reported that both teams really want this guy. Carolina has said that they want to trade down a couple of times, so I could see him potentially falling to 9, but if they stay in and pick, I think the pick is Jalen Walker. Number 9, they're saying that the Saints won't pick a quarterback. They'll do the same thing that the Giants are doing. If they don't pick a quarterback, I think they'll either take Tet or Warren. But I just think Kellen's going to be like, Carr's out this year. We got a chance to get our QB2 in here, but they've also been said to be really in love with Dart. So I think really here at 9, the pick will be Sanders, Dart, or McMillan. But I went ahead and chose Sanders because he's the name been talking about most is QB2 there for the Saints. Number 10, Kelvin Banks Jr. They need to get some offensive line help for that QB over there. It could be another guy, but I just think Kelvin Banks Jr. a beast, and he's been linked to them. He's one of the 30 visits, and so I could see them taking them right there. I don't know if this is halfway hopeful or wishful thinking, but I've got 11. I've got San Francisco taking Walter Nolan, defensive tackle at Mississippi, just swooping him right out of the Cowboys' arms. Oh, darn.
And you're getting your guy, Tetron McMillan, at number
At
12.
12, he's actually the most mocked guy to the Cowboys right now. I could equally see the pick being Matthew Golden here. Also, there's a lot of hype right now for the Cowboys about Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. I had him sliding down the board a little bit because of his knee stuff. But he's a top 10 player in my opinion. And today, Jerry talked a ton in the hour and a half presser. He talked a ton about the offensive line. And so a lot of people think that they actually might pick offensive line now. So number 13.
What you need.
What?
I said what you need.
Yeah,
not a sexy pick, but
I think wide receiver is a bigger need. I wouldn't even say offensive. You can never go wrong drafting in the trenches, but offensive tackle, I wouldn't even say is a top 4. I mean, offensive line isn't even a top 4 need. Like Cowboys have so many needs, it's not even a top 4 need. You need a wide receiver, you need a running back, you need a cornerback, and you need a defensive tackle. Then you can look at the line. But if the line, I just want BPA. So if the BPA is a offensive line guy, please do it because I just want to add as many good players as we possibly can.
And for you guys that don't know, BPA's best player available.
Yep. Look at you, just studying up.
Instead of drafting for a need, it's best player available, and I like that too. Just if you're going to get a player that's the best player available, obviously that on your board, then you got a good player, and coaches and good coaching and good players go well together. So
right. Yep. Number 13, the Miami Dolphins really need a cornerback. So I got them taking my cornerback one in this draft, Jahdae Barron. Also looked at it. The pick there could potentially be Will Johnson. Those are kind of the top two consensus corners in this draft. Number 14, the Colts really need a tight end. Tyler Warren's the blinking light at this point. He could go as early as 7, I've seen, to the Jets, but I've got him going 14 to the Colts. Atlanta Falcons, they love themselves a linebacker, and they need a linebacker right now. So Jihad Campbell, I've got him going there. On number 16, Will Johnson, the Arizona desperately needs a corner. This guy's got a lot of hype, even though he doesn't have a 40 time. I could see them taking him there. I just gave the Bengals at 17 my best rated defensive player that I had on my board.
They need some.
They've already got a good edge, but I wouldn't have to give them another edge. How do you help the rest of your defense get to the quarterback? So if you got two guys, they had a guy who got 17 sacks last year, and you throw another guy on there. Number 18, I hate to see this, but the Seahawks need a wide receiver now that they traded DK. Cooper Kupp's not healthy enough to rely on. So Matthew Golden to pair with Cooper Kupp, and Smith Nigjuga, however you say that. The other receiver over there, so I can see Matthew going over there. Justin Smith, Nigjuga. Number 19, I've got Tampa Bay taking Donovan, easy, edge out of Boston College, just a solid all-around guy. I talked about him a while ago. About 4 sacks a year guy. They didn't really do any kind of stunts with him, so he could get to 10 sacks potentially, but kind of reminds me of Tank Lawrence a little bit. His tape just going to be good at everything, great at nothing, if that makes sense. That's kind of how Tank was. 20, it's been buzzed like that the Broncos are trying to come up in this draft. And everybody thinks they have their sights set on Amari Hampton, that they're not going to wait. They want him that bad. So they could try to come up to the Cowboys spot potentially, or 13 or 14 to get him. But in this
on a running back, move up that bad for a running back.
They really love Amari Hampton, and they need a running back, and they've already got a good team. They could come up for another player.
I'm thinking if you're sorry, I'm going to cut you off. If you're moving up, you might as well move up and get the best running back in the draft, Ashton Gentry.
Yeah, well, remember last year or 2 years ago, Bijan went in the top 10, and nobody saw Gibbs going 12. Everybody had him going in the 20s, and the Lions took him at 12. That's worked out pretty well.
Pretty well for him, yeah.
And so it could be the same type of deal. They could also come up for Ted McMillan as well, but there's been lots of rumors out there that Sean Payton is in love with Amari and Hampton. This is a crazy one. I have the Steelers taking Jalen Milroe, and this is a Mike Tomlin special. When you think about the type of quarterback that he wants,
it's not a very good one.
Jalen Milroe is it. He just wants a guy that can run the ball. It's not going to turn over a whole lot, and just isn't going to screw it up for the defense. And you got a guy that's probably got the best legs. Now, here's the deal. Lamar Jackson fell down the board, was the 5th or 6th quarterback taken in his draft because they didn't think he could throw, and he figured it out. He's got similar tape. 2-time MVP, should have been 3-time this last year.
That should have won that over him.
Yep. 22, I got Luther Burden III, wide receiver, going right above you to the Chargers, meaning that there's only one first-round graded receiver left for the Packers. It's Emeka Egbuka, would be a fantastic pick. But you've got your choice of James Pierce Jr., Emeka Egbuka, and I give you the edge over the receiver just because that's what the Packers do.
Now, I tell you what, Ryan, I was looking at this, and that's why I shake my head while I go, because if we pass, if Emeka Egbuka is on the list, and when we pick, and we pass him up, I might punch a wall. But James Pierce Jr. is a good player. A lot of off-field issues like you talked about. I don't know if I'd be that – if we got him, I don't know if I could be that mad, but I would be disappointed just because we need a freaking wide receiver.
There's also rumors with Emeka Egbuka that could be a Cowboys target. Our wide receivers coach really recruited him in high school, coached somebody that he's close to, has a really long-standing relation with Emeka Egbuka. So they're saying that Junior Adams, who's our wide receiver coach, who also was Cooper Kupp's coach in college, they're saying that could end up being the guy if McMillan's gone, and you're trying to pick between Golden and Egbuka and Burden, that Egbuka could win because of that. Ibuka also run blocks, which none of these other receivers do very well, but he'll actually put his nose in there and run block the fire out of you. Another guy, I'm going to give this to you, Brian, because I know you care, that I've seen mocked to you quite a bit is defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. In my opinion, I think that you are going to take a defensive lineman. You're either going to take a tackle or edge.
Yeah, I think our need for edge is more, but we kind of need both.
I think
We usually go defense.
I think you need a wide receiver, but since you've got 6'2s on your team, I think they're content with waiting to the second round.
And it kills me every time. It kills me.
If
Especially with a guy like Emeka.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man. And last year, our problem is, like, our defensive coach came in from Boston College, and his whole philosophy was rush with 4 and cover everyone back, which is great if you get home with 4. We weren't getting home with 4 because we couldn't get to the quarterback, and then that causes all sorts of problems. So I would be fine with an edge, like I said, as long as he's going to come in and not be like a 3-year work of something we got to work on for 3 years. Passing up on a Mecca for a surefire wide receiver would, oh my gosh, that would be annoying.
Slater earlier made a report, and she said, I know all the players that have been linked to the Cowboys, but she said, watch for these 3 players specifically that I'm hearing. Matthew Golden, James Pierce Jr., and Walter Nolan. Those are the 3 that she tweeted earlier today, and she works for NFL Network, and she doesn't tweet anything that's not got some truth and validity to it. So James Pierce Jr. could be gone before he even gets to 23 potentially. I think it's a trade back option. I really do think the Cowboys are going to take McMillan if he's there, but I think he could be gone at 9. If not, I think that they'll look for a trade back and they'll take Golden if they can. If they lose out on Golden and Tet, then you'll see them take one of these defensive guys potentially. But all right, 24, your favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. And I've got them taking Malachi Starks.
I've heard a lot of things about him. A lot of good things.
Beast safety can just do everything, and they need some secondary help. Be a great pick for them. 25, you know that the Texans love them a wide receiver. Blinking light for them. First round grade receiver falls to them because the Packers are idiots and they take Emeka Ibuka 5, but at least he's not in the NFC where you have to see him, right? Honestly, Ryan, if y'all passed on him, I could see the Lions jumping up there to snag him.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing the Vikings did to us with Jefferson that year.
Yeah.
Like, my gosh.
I've seen lots of mocks with Colston Loveland to the Rams, and the Rams even trading up to get him, and that they want a tight end because they haven't really ever had a solid tight end.
Hey, Higbee's good. I like Higbee.
He's a really good 2. He's not a tight end.
He's not the traditional tight end, but I like him.
And then Baltimore does what Baltimore does every year. Baltimore just has a beast player fall to them, and I'll say it. Cowboys are probably a top 5 to 7 drafting team in the league. The Baltimore Ravens are the best drafting team in the NFL. And here's why. They just take the best player every single round, every single year. This is why they're always in the playoffs. This is why they're always in contention. Every single year, go look at their draft grade. It's always usually an A or an A+. And it's because they do not draft for need. They take the best player on their board every single round. And this year, I've got them taking Josh Simmons because people were afraid of the knee, and they get a stud left tackle for the next 10 years to block for Lamar. That's a typical, and it's frustrating. There's 28. I've got the Lions taking receiver because there's lots of buzz about them trading. I'm drawing a blank right now. Number 9, Jameson Williams. Lots of buzz right now about them trying to move him right now. And so if they do that, I think they take Jaden Higgins, pair up another receiver. They don't want to pay him because they've already paid too many people, so they're trying to move him. In fact, he's being linked to the Cowboys because Jerry said that there's in 2 trade talks, and so a lot of people are saying that we could potentially be talking to them about taking receiver. Washington needs edge help as well. I have them taking Nick Scorton mainly because of all the hype, and I know their head coach very, very well, and I know what he likes, and I think he would like Nick Scorton. He likes a good project. Nobody saw Micah Parsons as an edge when we drafted him. Everybody saw him as an off-ball linebacker. Otherwise, he would have been a top 5 pick, but nobody thought he could do that. Yep. Dan Quinn saw that, and so I think he'll see the traits with Scorton and jump all over it. The Bills have a desperate need for a corner, And so I have them taking the best one available at that point, Tramos, and I think they'll be great. Kansas City needs to get all the help they can. This guy, Gray Zabel, was a great offensive tackle, but it's Division II FCS. A lot of the scouts have him transitioning to guard, but most of them even center. So if he went to Kansas City, he'd probably move over to guard or center. A lot of people have him listed as their center one in this draft, even though he played tackle. They think he translate his arm length and everything he does, kind of like with Cooper Beebe for the Cowboys last year. They moved him over from guard to center just because he projected better. Same thing here. And at 32, it makes me so sick that they have the last pick in the draft because that means they won the Super Bowl. And there's not a fan base I hate. I even hate the Eagles more than the Astros fan base, bro. And that's just how disgusting they are to me. But Texas, they just can't help themselves, man. They love defensive line. They love just gritty guys. Now, Shamar Stewart's not an altogether project, but dude's a leader, beast. If they can get it out of him with some of the defense that they lost already, this guy would be a problem for the Cowboys if they could pull out his raw traits. So that's what I got going in the first rounds.
Awesome, man. Well, that was great. That was great. You put a lot of time and effort into it, and I appreciate that. I wish we. I need to talk some Rangers with you, but that'll be a different podcast or different time.
They shaked up the bats tonight. Did you see the lineup was all different?
I did. Thank God. I was so tired of Peterson batting third, batting a buck, like batting .05. Like
he's not batting leadoff. Seager's not batting too.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
See how that goes. Who would be your dream pick at 23?
My dream pick at 23. Well, my dream pick would be a dual Carter.
Yeah, realistic.
Well, I mean, if that wide receiver from Ohio State and Mbuka is still there, I would take him.
Yeah, dude. He's my wide receiver 2 in this draft behind Tech.
He's for sure fire. That would be my dream pick. And if we ended up with James Pierce from Tennessee, what you've told me from him, I've seen him play some of the season other than the offside, off the field issues. I think it's a great pick as well.
And I don't know what teams have him listed at. He could end up going second, third, fourth, fifth. Like, he's a first round talent. I just don't know what these teams are going to do with him.
Could be a steal if you get him in the third round.
And he could be one of those guys that just falls because people are afraid, or there's more to the story than what the general public knows.
Do you know about it? Like, do you know the rough? Okay.
So I just watched so much stuff that I want to say it was Bobby Belt. He was sitting in the draft room with all those guys. And I got to meet all those guys. I got to meet Bobby Belt. I got to talk to all those guys.
That's awesome.
I even confirmed with, who Nick Harrison is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fort Worth Star Telegram. I talked to him one-on-one. I said, hey, what's the deal with these 30 visits? You haven't said anything lately. He's like, I confirmed the Cowboys met with Josh Simmons. That's nowhere. Nobody knows that. Brian Broaddus was there. It's like, so literally I found out by talking to him the Cowboys met with Josh Simmons. And it's not reported anywhere. And so, yeah, man, they just were talking about it, and they said that there's some red flag off-field character concerns with him, and some teams are moving him off the board, but that's all I know.
Well, Ryan, one heck of a show. I think we should do this every year around draft time, maybe a little earlier.
We could do it instead of just doing one show too. We could do a little bit here and there every week, leading up like 4 to 6 weeks in advance.
I agree, 100%.
It'd be more fun if you were a Cowboys fan, though.
You wouldn't have to stare at this Packer gear and think about how many times we beat you in the playoffs.
Think about who are the Packers going to take, because I know that you care about that.
Yeah.
At least we're not Bears right now or anything like that.
The Bears fans are annoying.
You do podcasts with Bears fans.
I know. I haven't done one in a while, but I get along with everybody, But we like to friendly talk some trash, and I do think the Bears will be better this year. I think that they've done a pretty good job of surefiring the offensive line, and a lot of Packer fans are like, Bears will always suck. I'm like, I don't know, man. We'll see.
We'll see what happens with the draft. See. I'm concerned about where the Packers are headed.
We'll see. We got a lot of our division is the best in the NFL. We got to keep up, man. We got to keep up. Lions.
Is it the best in
Vikings?
NFL? Is it the best in NFL?
We had the best last year.
Let's talk about this. Was it the best?
Yes.
Can you tell me the 2 teams in the NFC Championship game?
Don't give me that.
Can you
don't give me that?
Can you tell me the 2 teams in the NFC Championship game real quick?
Yes, I know. We all know. Okay. Well, we have 3 teams. You have 2.
What team won the Super Bowl?
You had 2.
Yeah,
we had 3.
The top two. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. He's like,
He might be right. Okay.
NFC East, NFC Least. I'm like, top two teams in the.
They're in the top two. But that rarely happens with you guys. I mean, look at the NFC North. I think the Lions do fall off this year. So we'll see.
They did lose their offensive coordinator and the
defensive coordinator.
Yep, that could be a huge deal.
Huge.
I think the fact that y'all don't have a wide receiver is very concerning.
We led the league in drops again, back-to-back years. I'm like,
Jordan
gosh,
Love
dang.
Did not look as good as he did the year before last year.
No, but he didn't have such a great fall off like Stroud did. I don't think he fell off that much. And also, you got to remember, he played half the year with a effed up knee. You know, he missed a couple games. I don't think he was all that healthy. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm optimistic, but I'm always optimistic usually.
Yep. And, man, I just don't know how I feel about Caleb Williams.
I mean, it's hard to say because he was running for his life all last year. But then also when he wasn't, he made some weird, like, some way off target throws. Like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got.
But Ben Johnson, he's got a good coach now.
Yeah, he's got all the talent in the world. I don't know that he's him.
I feel you. Well, all right, guys. Well, that's gonna be the draft show. I'm gonna put it up. I'll just probably put it up tonight after we get off here. Ryan, my bud, I appreciate you coming on and giving us your draft experts and expertise, and tell us what you do on draft night.
So me, my brother, and brother-in-law all have our own top 50 boards because they watch it just as much as I do. And we set up a table and have all of our boards there and check off our boards and have good food. And we'll watch one, 2, and 3 together. Rounds 4 through 7, we usually just go home and watch and just text through that. But every year, Thursday and Friday night, we watch it together, compare notes, compare players, compare boards. Like, we don't even reveal our top 50 board to each other until we show up to each other and we all look at each other's boards and say, oh, you missed on this player, or you missed on that player, and then that's before, and then during, you're like, oh, looks like I had more top 50 than you did.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, guys, that's going to be the show tonight. We are doing a live reaction to the draft this Thursday, so jump on with us on the Sportscast on YouTube. We're going to live react to, we'll probably do about half the first round. We ain't going to be on for the whole first round. It'll be like 3 hours.
You're going to stay on until 23?
Yes. I'm going to try and stay on 23. That is way more than half. I know. It just depends. It depends. The other guys might bounce, but I might stay on. We're always usually.
I might jump on real quick just for like a 5-minute cameo, and I'll react to the Cowboys pick for you.
Perfect. That'd be great. Yeah, I'll send you a link. Text me on Thursday night. Remind me. But yeah, we're gonna live react. So jump on the show with us on YouTube on the Sportscast and come into the comment section. We'll put your comments on. Ryan might make a little appearance there, but super excited for the draft. It's cool that it's in Green Bay this year, so we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, how do we not go? How do we not go to that?
Fired. Hey, Cowboys and Packers play this year in Dallas, don't they? It's in Dallas?
Yes.
We should go. I'm just saying.
Last time I went, we got freaking killed by you guys.
Every time I go, we win, but I don't know if it was me being there or Aaron Rodgers isn't losing at the stadium, but yeah.
Yep, I got to hear "Go Pack, go, go Pack, go" for 3 hours straight in a playoff game. Is the worst 3 hours of my life.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, that's the show tonight. Check us out Thursday. We usually do a show weekly on Friday nights, but this week is going to be Thursday for the NFL draft as we live react to that. Thank you again, Ryan. God bless, and remember to keep it outspoken.